By the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to beat institutional commercial real estate brokers at their own game. It's a brilliant, highly intimidating game, but if you've ever felt totally outgunned in a negotiation room, well, we're tearing down that illusion right here, right now. Look, here is the absolute core premise you've just got to internalize. Looking smart to impress some broker, but ending up buying a bad deal, that is a massive, unrecoverable loss. But looking boring while obsessively protecting your downside, that, my friends, is how you actually build generational wealth. You just can never, ever compromise your math for your ego. So let's dive into this psychological trap that catches, well, almost everyone. It's classic imposter syndrome. Picture this. Your gut is literally screaming that the agent's numbers just don't add up. But the second you get on a call with a broker from one of those massive national firms, this weird shift happens, right? They radiate certainty, they're dropping all this institutional slang, and suddenly you actually start second-guessing your own math. Your internal dialogue kicks in. You start thinking, man, they do billions in transaction value. Surely they know something I don't. And out of pure vanity, or maybe just the fear of looking green, you stay quiet. You actually swallow your totally valid objections and just let their confidence completely override your competence. Chapter 1. The Broker Smoke Shield. Now that we understand the psychological trap, we have to look at the exact weapons these brokers use to project that institutional authority. The very first layer of this smoke shield is what I like to call the vocabulary barrier. They'll casually throw around ridiculous terms like pro-forma stabilized yield on cost, or bifurcated promote structures, which, honestly, sounds more like a medical condition than real estate, right? But the goal is incredibly tactical. They want to make a really straightforward transaction sound like absolute rocket science, just to see if you'll blink, or if you'll just nod along to avoid looking foolish. And this feeds directly into the market consensus trap. A broker will confidently sit there and say, well, the market is pricing this at a 5.5% cap rate, treating it like it's some undeniable mathematical fact. But what are they conveniently leaving out? Massive capital expenditures. I mean, when you factor in the real-world cash needed to, say, replace the roof, that 5.5% becomes a total fantasy. But they use it like a club to shut down your negotiation. Which brings us to the vanity mirror. Obviously, you want to be taken seriously. You want to make sure you keep getting those sweet pocket listings. So you worry that asking a quote-unquote basic question will make them write you off as just a hobbyist. And the result? You stay quiet. You stare right into that vanity mirror, prioritizing your image over the actual integrity of the deal. Chapter 2, What They Aren't Saying. Let's pull back the curtain right now and reveal what's actually going on behind all that jargon. Whenever you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by a slick presentation, you need to pause and ask yourself this one fundamental question. What are they actually hiding? Look, here is the harsh reality every seasoned investor knows. Brokers represent the seller, period. Their ultimate overriding goal is simply to close the transaction. They aren't your financial advisor. They're salespeople, tasked with moving an asset at the absolute highest possible price. So let's translate this slick institutional jargon, shall we? When they say, oh, we have strong institutional interest, what that actually means is, we're creating false urgency so you don't look too closely at the trailing 12-month expenses. When they say pro-forma rent growth is 5%, that translates to, our spreadsheet desperately needs 5% to justify this wild asking price. And my personal favorite, a turnkey operation? Yeah, that means the current owner is completely exhausted by deferred maintenance, and they are enthusiastically passing that very expensive baton right to you. Chapter 3, Taking Control. Now that we know their playbook, we're pivoting from defense to offense using hard, unfakeable metrics. We've got 3 actionable, unfakeable strategies to instantly take control of the room without ever needing to match their vocabulary. Step 1, let the pro-forma do the talking. 2, demand simplicity by asking them to explain it like you're 5. And 3, completely shift the power dynamics to your own underwriting. Okay, step 1. When a broker hands you an offering memorandum, or an OM, it is going to be packed with beautiful, glossy graphics and some incredibly aggressive projections. Now, your first instinct might be to argue with their story. Don't do that. Argue with the math, not the narrative. Instead of just vaguely saying, hey, I think your rent projections are too high, you've got to get surgical. You look them dead in the eye and say, walk me through the hyperlocal comps that justify a 15% bump in year 1, especially given the current submarket vacancy rates. Boom, right there. You just pinned their glossy marketing directly to the verifiable, cold, hard data of the neighborhood. Step 2 is honestly the ultimate power move. Ask for simplicity. Own the explain like I'm five strategy. Listen, the most powerful tool in a sophisticated negotiation isn't trying to use bigger words than the other guy. It is demanding absolute clarity. Asking for a simple explanation doesn't make you look stupid at all. It actually forces the other side to prove they understand the complicated mess they're trying to sell you. And here is the exact quote you can use to deploy this highly granular tool. You say, "We analyze deals on a highly granular level." So for clarity, break down exactly how you calculated the net operating income adjustments on line 4. You're forcing them entirely out of their slick sales pitch to justify a single specific line item. If there's smoke in the numbers, this is exactly where they're going to choke on it. Finally, step 3, lean on your own underwriting model. All that vanity and imposter syndrome completely disappears the second you stop worrying about their future wishes and just stand firmly on your actual historical numbers. Because this is where the rubber really meets the road. Let's say your model shows the property is a 6.5% cap rate, and that's based on actual historical data and real expense tracking. But the broker? They're aggressively pushing a 5.2% cap rate based on absolutely nothing but future wishes and best-case scenarios. You have to stick to your data. The truth is, a professional broker respects a hard, mathematical line in the sand. So, you deliver this final, authoritative script. You tell them, based on our internal risk parameters, our number is X. If the seller can't hit that, we completely understand. It's polite, it's relentlessly data-driven, and it shows you are entirely willing to walk away. That right there? That is true leverage. The bottom line is this. Never let a slick presentation, big vocabulary, or a glossy brochure overwrite your own financial modeling. Buying a bad deal just because you want it to look smart at the conference table is a massive financial loss. Protecting your downside with cold, hard math is the ultimate key to actually building wealth. So the next time you sit across from a mega broker, will you rely on their smoke shield or your own math?